Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, justice, and the idea that people deserve equality are fundamental ideas of American society. For the last 300 years, we as a nation have provided ourselves with the idea that we lead the world with humanity and a democratic system that can pull through any struggle that comes before us.
Yet even today, we hear news of racism, sexism, and discrimination that causes strife within our own borders. In a government system where majority rules, it is easy for the top politicians to distance themselves from the rights of the minorities. Consequently, that distance may cause disconnect between the politicians and the issue at hand. A major concern in our domestic policy is the issue of civil rights for homosexuals. With the recent repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and the hot topics of gay marriage and the Defense of Marriage Act, it is hard to ignore this issue.
How have you seen the church progress towards homosexuality since you've been part of the Jesuits?
Well, you know, homosexuality wasn't even an issue when I was a kid.
A federal grand jury in Baltimore has awarded the father of a dead Marine, Albert Snyder, almost $11 million for enduring an inappropriate protest by a virulent anti-gay group. The Westboro Baptist Church believes God is punishing America because of homosexual issues, and the group has been interrupting the funerals of soldiers and Marines to make their insane point.
Could I just mention one other thing? On the issue of the gay marriage, I believe if people want to have private ceremonies, it's fine. I do not believe that gay marriages should be legal.
Define marriage.
I believe that marriage is the union between a man and a woman. Now, for me as a Christian, it's also a sacred union. You know, God's in the mix.
Fine. If you want to say, okay, 2 women can also get married, and 2 men can also get married, that's fine. Whatever. It's, whatever. Here's the problem that nobody seems to address. If you change the variables and say that it doesn't have to be a man and a woman, it could be a woman and a woman or a man and a man, well, now you get into all different things because other people are going to say, well, wait a minute. Why can't 1 man marry 3 women?
Well, I am very much in favor of civil unions with full equality of benefits, and I want to see that developed as we move forward. I want to make that happen with federal benefits. There are a lot of federal benefits that people in long-term committed relationships don't have access to, and I want to make that happen. So I consider that this issue is one where we can agree on equality of benefits and work toward that.
How serious is bullying?
9 out of 10 LGBT students have been bullied at school this year alone.
The harassment has caused 2/3 of these students to feel unsafe.
And 28% of them to drop out. Bullying has led to an epidemic of LBGT teen suicides that has sent shockwaves through the community.
There are over 30,000 suicides each year.
That's 1 suicide every 17 minutes.
For every completed suicide,
there's an estimate of 100 to 200 attempts.
LGBT teens are 6 to 9 times more likely to attempt suicide than their straight peers.
How long have you been with the Jesuits?
I've been with the Jesuits since 1944, so 67 years. What does the church say on this? What do you mean by the church? You know, and basically when we speak of the church, we speak of the body of Christ. Huh? Now, within that church, you have all these people, and the church doesn't come out, you know, with a series of documents and what's the church say, as if to say you have all these funny guys running around in cassocks and robes in Rome, and they all meet together and say, what do we say, yes or no, and vote. No. So that you have the thinking of the church is diversified, very much so. Let God judge, don't you be the judge. My alternative then is, yes, there's a union, you know, let them have let the union of one with the other. I can't call it a marriage because I can't upstage Christ, but I can call it a union, one with another. Now, would you bless that union? I think I would. Pastorally, I would bless that union. Now, that wouldn't be very popular with the bishops, I'm sure, but I think pastorally, yeah. I could see these are still God's creatures. You don't sweep them away. How unfair. Who's to judge on these people?
We are aware that this topic will not change overnight. No major movement ever has. However, I am aware, and that is what's most important.
Our government has been making strides on this issue. With the recent repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which prohibited homosexuals from being openly gay and serving in the military, our government actually has made this an issue.
It was a great five-star general and president, Dwight D. Eisenhower, who once said, "Though force can protect an emergency, only justice, fairness, and consideration, and cooperation can finally lead men to the dawn of eternal peace." By repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell today, we take a big step toward fostering justice, fairness, and consideration, and that real cooperation President Eisenhower spoke of.
It's up to all of us now to make change. We can't let this topic be on the back burner any longer. It's 2011, and the thought of whether or not we need equality must end.
Can we embrace our differences and look to the hopes and dreams that we share? Will we uphold the ideals on which this nation was founded, that all of us are equal, that all of us deserve the same opportunity to live our lives freely and pursue our chance at happiness? I believe we can. I believe we will. And that's why I support ensuring that committed gay couples have the same rights and responsibilities afforded to any married couple in this country. You will see a time in which we as a nation finally recognize relationships between two men or two women as just as real and admirable as relationships between a man and a woman.